Parliament's ad hoc committee is expected to resume its investigation into allegations of criminal infiltration and political interference inside South Africa's criminal justice system. The former acting police commissioner, Khomotso Phahlane, will be the first to testify, and this follows explosive claims heard by the committee last year of a grand scheme to block his appointment as the permanent head of the SAPS. The fact-finding body continues its investigations into those allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi about the capture of police and the broader criminal justice system. MKP Member of Parliament Sibonelo Nomvalo joins us now for more. Good morning and thank you for your time and all the best for the new year. I think we can still say that. We're saying it till the end of the month, Sibonelo. But we're hearing from a really important witness today. I've already set the scene. This is Khomotso Phahlane. Later this week, also Dumisani Khumalo, the head of crime intelligence. What are your expectations from the hearings this week?
Good morning and good morning to the viewers at home. Indeed, today we are having General Phahlane, who is the former National Commissioner. At some stage, he was the acting National Commissioner, I think, between the period of 2015 and 2017. So there is a lot that he knows. And before that, he was the divisional commissioner in SAPS. So I think he has been with SAPS for a very long time. He has written about 160-something affidavit wherein he deposes to many incidents and many facts. So the affidavit carries a lot of information. But I remember how his name came in. It was brought in by a witness that appeared before the committee, Kabinde. And Kabinde told the committee that they had a group called Phahlane Group, which consisted of Mark Bright, who was the leader of IPID, and also Paul O'Sullivan. So in that group, they were plotting to get rid of Phahlane, and they were trying to block his appointment for the national commissioner, for being the national commissioner. So we're expecting him to come and share his experiences and also to see if his experiences corroborate with allegations that were raised by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, and also to see if he was aware of the so-called plot that was coordinated against his existence in SAPS. So those are the issues that we are expecting to hear from him. And with regards to General Khumalo, he's also an important figure in SAPS because he leads crime intelligence. We want him to come and share that information with the committee because we can't put aside their testimonies. They are relevant. If we want to have a comprehensive and a well-tested report, we must include their testimonies because we believe that they stayed for a very long time in SAPS and they've been involved in critical positions in SAPS. So some of the information that was shared by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is an information that they are aware of. So we want them to come and share their experiences so we can see how their experiences will assist the committee in probing further the allegations before it.
I mean, you mentioned Cedric in Kabinde there and Paul O'Sullivan. Paul O'Sullivan, who is described as a forensic investigator, private investigator, has dismissed this idea or the claims of a plot. But interestingly, he has also refused to appear in front of the ad hoc committee. How do you plan on getting him there?
No, actually, he's not refusing. He's saying he wants to appear online, and we're saying that's nonsense. No one will be given a special attention, treatment. You must come here like all witnesses. All witnesses that have appeared thus far before the ad hoc committee have come physically, including former ministers. No one has told us that he has some reservations and so on. So why would Paul O'Sullivan be given a special treatment? He thinks he's dealing with his friends here. He thinks he's dealing with his colleagues in the Phahlane task team. So he's going to do shenanigans with ease. We're not going to do that. Everyone must be treated equally. If he is overseas, because his claim is that he's in London, so he can't appear before the ad hoc committee. But he was made aware last year when he was busy threatening ad hoc committee members and when he was busy threatening Ngabinde, that he will appear at some stage before the ad hoc committee. So he should have known that, and he must have prepared himself for such. So we can't take that excuse. That is an excuse of trying to escape liability. He has been making all sorts of allegations out there about many people, about state institutions. Now, when he's given an opportunity to come and make such allegations in a formal platform, why now is he coming with lame excuses? He must come here before the ad hoc committee, and we will use all the mechanisms at our disposal to ensure that he comes to the committee. If it means he must be subpoenaed, he's going to be subpoenaed. But ultimately, he will come to the ad hoc committee, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you about, what mechanisms you have to bring people that you want to testify in person physically to the commission. I think you've explained in part there what you plan on doing. So there is a tight deadline that is also looming ahead of you, Sibonelo. I think it's February is when your mandate will expire. Is there enough time? Because again, you're not sure which way it's going to go with the testimony that's outlined or set down for this week. You've got two big hitters that are going to be giving a testimony. And if we think of, the questions that MPs like yourselves have been putting to the witnesses, these can go in any direction and can take an extended amount of time. What are your thoughts about the time frames and whether there might be an extension of the process?
Yeah, ideally, it's desirable for us to complete this investigation within a very short space of time so that we can expose the actual facts to South Africans. South Africans are patiently waiting to know the truth. They want to know what is it that is happening. I mean, what is it that took place and in relation to the allegations raised by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. So ideally, it's desirable that we expedite this investigation. But in so doing, we must never compromise quality, because the principle of odi alteram, the principle of odi alteram in our legal system, that we must hear all sides of the story before we arrive to a particular determination. So it's premature for me for now to say that we will indeed meet the deadline of February, because we don't know what is entailed in the testimonies that are going to be adduced before the ad hoc committee by the witnesses that are still to appear in the ad hoc committee. Because remember, most of them are not just witnesses, but are prominent witnesses in this context by virtue of their responsibilities that they played in SAPS, of their official responsibilities. So maybe their testimonies might trigger an invitation of more people to come and appear before the ad hoc committee. But ideally, we must finish the investigation in February. It must not delay to a point where it dies a natural death, to a point where people lose interest and lose confidence. So we are hoping that we are going to meet the deadline, but we must not try to meet the deadline to a point where we compromise quality and the principle of odi alteram.
What's going to be the objective test of all the evidence? As you heard there, some are, contradictory to each other. One says you did this and the other says, no, I didn't. Insofar as, and I just want to outline, for example, the thing between Cedric Nkabinde and Paul O'Sullivan. But on a deeper level, what will be that objective test for the evidence? What happens in terms of that outcome? I think that's what South Africans want to know. This has been an incredibly explosive, concerning process that reaches into what should be the most integrous complex in South Africa, and that's our law enforcement complex. What happens with regard to testing what you've heard so far?
Look, I think South Africans must know the truth here. We've been making noise in the committee about lack of capacity. We don't have a forensic investigator, for instance. We don't have an audit firm that will help us to use their technical skills to probe further some of the complex issues that we have in the committee. For instance, Pegicele came to the committee and said he met Matlala through a guy from KZN, and he never mentioned that he got money from Matlala, 500,000. When Matlala comes, he says, I got 500,000. There is footage that can testify that. We have not seen that footage. We have no forensic investigator that we can send and say, go to this hotel, ask for footage, see if the footage is reflective of what has been alleged by Matlala. That is a shortfall that we're faced with as the ad hoc committee. And we have been appealing to the leadership of Parliament to say, you need to capacitate this committee so that it doesn't engage in a exercise that is not going to pass in a court of law, because the likelihood is that our report will be taken on review. That has been a practice, a widespread practice in South Africa, that people, when they are not happy, they take reports on review. So it must not have loopholes. That is why we were saying in the committee, Pegicele must come back and answer. And there was an argument against our proposition. The argument was that you can't call Pegicele having not even tested allegations made by Matlala against him. So
Understood.
you just call him having not even, tested the allegation about 500,000 and so on and so forth. So those are shortfalls that we're faced with.
I got to leave it there, Sibonelo. I'm so sorry. I mean, you're also watching the clock. We're close on 8 o'clock. But thank you for talking to us. We will have live picture on the start or the resumption of the hearings into police interference. And Sibonelo Nomvalo is the MKP party's MP in Parliament in that committee. All right, we're a minute or so from 8 o'clock. Got to leave it there. See you now.